So from the time that you started drinking at Taco Bell to the time that the officers got there, about how long was that?
Oh, maybe 15 to 20, 30 minutes or whatever.
Okay. How much did you drink between that time?
I had a malt liquor. The 211 is a strong beer.
Just one?
It was a 40 ounce.
Right. So you drank the whole 40 ounces.
I was drinking out of the thing. After the fact that
You were drinking out of what?
After I stepped back in the car, I started drinking.
Right. So how much of it did you drink?
I consumed a lot of it.
Okay, so let's just say you drank most of 1 40 ounce.
It was getting contained.
So that's your story and you're sticking, hold on. So is that your story and you're sticking with it, that you drank most of 1 40 ounce beer in about 15 to 30 minutes and that you hadn't drank anything before then?
No, except for that night before, about 2 o'clock that morning. Okay. And then whole blood, alcohol stays in your blood system added to what I drank.
Okay, so your test on this night after drinking most of a 40 ounce was 0.188. And you're wanting me to believe that that's based on most of one drink and that maybe you still had alcohol in your system from the day before.
Yes, ma'am, but what I recall my memory, ma'am, I have no reason to try to trick you, Miss West. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. Like I said, I had alcohol in my system from the night before.
Well, how much did you drink the night before?
Well, I was intoxicated.
So what you're telling me then, if you had that much alcohol in your system from the night before, that you were still probably hold on. Watch where your story's going.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're telling me you had so...
Right away the judge is zeroing in on timing because in DUI cases timeline is everything. The shorter the window the harder it is to justify a high blood alcohol level. So ask yourself, does his story already sound shaky?
In your system the night before that it was going to still be in your blood and you had just driven to the Taco Bell.
No, I drove to the Taco Bell later on that evening.
You're not right.
But it wasn't a full 24 hours.
Right. So if you're saying that 0.188 is because of the night before, then all likelihood you were drunk when you were driving from the night before, if I'm to believe your story that you only had most of one drink while you were there. See how that doesn't make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
First of all, Miss Judge, ma'am, I'm asking for mercy, for forgiveness to begin with. I'm not a bad person.
A 40-ounce beer is a lot, but hey, race the problem. Scientifically owned drink like that usually doesn't push someone close to a 188 BAC in such a short time. This is where the court starts testing credibility, not just facts.
I completed high school. I had 1 semester in college for auto mechanics. I've served for the community. I worked all my life. The kids was out playing.
Where have you worked?
I worked for Little and Willis when I was a kid at the age 15. After that, I graduated and I continued working. I've been working in the plant for over 30 to 40 years. All my life I've been working.
How many years?
Business and all different types of jobs all over.
Mark, how many years did you serve in prison? How many years?
This is a critical courtroom moment because once a defendant locks into a story, changing it later can destroy credibility. Would you double down here or admit there's more to the story?
Have you been in prison?
First of all,
how many years have you been in prison?
All together with everything, I done did over 2 years.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 58 years old.
58 years old, and for 10 years you've been in prison in DWIs and other things. So what mercy are you asking for from this court when you have 19 misdemeanors and 6 or 7 felonies? Why should she consider something less? I mean, give her a reason why.
Miss West,
what's changed?
I didn't do half of the things that they say I did.
Mark, you pled guilty to them. Okay, that's
Yeah.
over with, right? The day for you, in reference to court, the day for you to say, I didn't do this is over. You accepted a plea, okay? I mean, let's cut to the chase here,
Yes,
because she could find the allegations, well, she did, the true and under consideration, and it's 25 to life,
yes.
okay? And I guess the most you've had up until
Harris, where his argument actually backfires. If the alcohol really carried over from the night before, that could mean he was still impaired when he got behind the wheel earlier in trying to defend himself, maybe making things worse.
this point is 5 years, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go first to when you were arrested. Were you working?
I'm receiving disability. I can't work. No.
Okay, what is your disability?
I got rheumatoid arthritis. I got prostate problems. My heart is bad.
Are you on disability?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when were you placed on disability?
Like 2020.
Okay, so 2020 you're on disability. So while you're on disability, why are you drinking beer 40 ounces at a time? Or drinking the night before to where you're tired?
There's no excuse.
Explain to it.
I just lost my brother. I lost my mother and my father. And the alcohol just don't bring it. They're not gonna break me.
Okay, so you have a problem.
I have a problem.
One of the things we talked about was, when you came to me, was that you never went into a program.
Never.
You never went into a drug program?
I never had a chance on probation and that.
Well, you got.
Well, what about when you weren't on probation? What about the times when you weren't in prison? You knew you had a problem and you wanted to stay out of prison.
Yeah, well, I got a device since I've been home.
No, what? That's since you've
Oh, yes,
been in.
ma'am. I tried.
I'm talking about the rest of your life. I'm talking about the times that you got
Yes, ma'am.
arrested 43 times for public intoxication, 39 traffic offenses, 17 times you didn't appear in court, 5 disorderly conducts, 4 open containers. I mean, these.
Now the stakes explode. Going from a maximum of 5 years to potentially 25 years or more is a massive jump. This is no longer just about one incident, it's about a lifetime pattern catching up in one courtroom.
These are the ones that aren't even listed on the pages.
Yes, ma'am.
Pages.
Miss West, they have 5 different other marks here.
Okay, so you're gonna
In the
stick with that this isn't you.
No, ma'am, I'm not making no excuses. I have very much high respect for the officer of the law.
Okay. Do you
Okay.
really? You do?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So that's the 19 misdemeanors, the assaults, the terroristic threats, the
I-
trespassings, the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your 5th DWI, your 2nd felony DWI. By what you need to understand
Yes, ma'am.
is that by not really taking personal responsibility and making us go through this circus that we've been going through now for an hour and a half of trying to prove that you actually have been convicted of felony offenses,
Yes, ma'am.
when you know darn well that you have,
Yes, ma'am.
makes no sense to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Coleman,
I have no questions for this defendant, Judge.
argument.
Just briefly, Judge, you have everything you need, Judge. We're asking that you sentence this defendant to the minimum of 25 years. He put himself in this situation, Judge.
If I
Go
may,
ahead.
Judge, one of the things in reference to the priors, maybe semi my fault, Judge, because if I did not object to them, to me, it would, if he pled true to them, then it would automatically go to 25 to life without the consideration of the full range.
Find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of driving while intoxicated, 3rd or more. Going to sentence you to a term of 25 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department.
And this is the turning point. The judge isn't just punishing a mistake, she's responding to a pattern. So what do you think? He's this justice, or is the sentence too harsh? Drop your thoughts below.